Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the BBG and Idle Immortal. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. You get my videos as they come out, and what more do you want out of your day? Now, this is the beginner guide, part one, I'm gonna say, of several parts, I think, because I forgot that restarting my account would require me to actually level back up. So I'm gonna explain the things that are available to me as I level. So the video will be split into sections like that, but I will be providing tips and tricks on how to aim in the direction you sort of need to. Now, again, any people who've said that in the game, feel free to leave your tips in the comments. For the love of God, if I am wrong, correct me. And if you know something that I haven't said, just chuck it in the comments for other people to read. So all the information is kind of pooled. Hello, level up. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But I'm going to start just like I did with the introduction to this game. I'm going to start top left, work along to the right, but this time I'll be going more in depth to the things that I can access right now, as opposed to the things I can't, like many things are still locked. But it makes it perfect for the very beginner guide. Now, I'm also going to be giving away one code with this episode, so you know the drill. Leave your name in the comments below if you want to be entered into the giveaway. If you are in server 2, don't worry, these codes will still work for you, but I will need to add you on Discord to send you your code. But without further ado, let's get into what I can show you so far. Now, event, okay. The 7-day reward goes without saying that you will need to log in 7 days in a row to achieve all of these rewards. Now, the items, the armor, I should say, and the weapons are probably going to be your best starter equipment for quite a few adventure levels. If at this point you haven't already noticed the kind of equipment you get from adventure, it's not the best. Wear the best that you can, and honestly, these are going to be the best items you'll get for a while, especially if you're more active during the first days you start playing. It feels like you're not getting stronger substantially. These items are where the difference lies. So the second day you play, all of a sudden you've updated your weapons and armor to another 2 superior versions. They might only be chi refining stage, but it's a hell of a lot stronger than just normal standard items of the next level. Now, attack boss, you need to do this when you can. It doesn't really matter what rank you come, who cares? But you need to do this. I mean, because even just ranking relatively low in it, you still get a demon beast deck, and you need those eggs. Your pet will play a pivotal role in you getting your strength, because every pet you have in assistance increases your stats by 10% of its. So you have to be on point with farming beasts to hatch. God's blessing, hey, that's top up territory, not really relevant in the beginner reward. State reward, yes, you can look forward to these, but once you really get to Nascent Soul, you'll realize how much this 9-turn elixir isn't really that much cultivation base. 100 million feels like a lot, but it's not. It's really not a lot, but it is a nice extra, plus you get the breakthrough pills. But those rewards are pretty self-explanatory for you to aim for. They provide a little goal when you first start. Like at this point where I'm at on my main, obviously I don't level up that quickly, so I'm not really too fussed about the state rewards, because by the time I get them, I've already vastly improved myself to the point where the reward is negligible. Free stuff is free stuff no matter which way you put it, XP gift, I can't show you that because I'm not gold core at the moment, but once you hit gold core, as I said in the last video, you can siphon XP from players. Every time you log in, just check it periodically. It's free cultivation base, and if you really want that little bit extra to push yourself further, it's a great way to do it. You can luck out on it and get like 1 million cultivation base XP, but that's down the track a bit because it's based basically off your current level. So I would get XP for a foundation establishment. I'm not going to show you Heaven Tower, because I can't. I need to be enlightening, so I need to level up a bit. I cannot show you much of what's going on here. What I can do is go in depth into the Immortal Treasure Hall. This place can and will be your best friend in the game. You can buy pretty much everything you want from it, but you will need the relevant currency. And another reason I said to do the beast is because you get prestige from ranking in the beast thing. So you want to do that every day to get at least a couple hundred prestige so you can spend it on, for example, familiar pills, because you will need hundreds of every kind of familiar pills to level your pets to the kind of level where they're vastly influencing your stats. Now, for all of you out there, don't bother buying the Rome formula. At the moment, it's bugged. It doesn't work. Or at least that's what everyone's been saying. I never bothered buying it myself because 5,000 prestige for a 10% reduction doesn't really seem worth it when I could buy pills instead, you know? Maybe once I get further down and the Romes start taking 10 to 15 hours and they fix the damn effect that book's supposed to have, it might be worth getting, but until then, that is very much not a beginner's item. Do not worry about it. Now, Essence Spirit Liquid. This is for actually leveling up in your character itself. That's for the Taoist Shrine. Now, that will be a huge source of stats for you once you unlock that, but I do not recommend buying them with prestige. They're so expensive with prestige. Like 1 for 100. They are amazing considering the stats they give you straight up, but 1,000 prestige day is too expensive. Worst case scenario, get 2 or 4. Don't spend all your prestige on Essence Spirit Liquid because your familiars will fall behind because of it. That is just what I've learned so far. Take that how you will. Now these keys, Mutual Generation, Mutual Overcoming, and the diagrams, all of these, those are entry items in adventure in occult exploration. You will not need to worry about that for a while until it becomes an issue in your inventory and there's a couple sitting there and you want to just use it here. These things are each an individual level where you have to work out the order in which the monsters need to be beaten to activate the diagram to get the reward. Pretty straightforward, and the entry item required to buy your way in is not expensive, but it's quite a lot considering you only get per key 2 sets of 20 of something. Whether you want to buy these keys as well as mix it with your roaming, it really depends on what material you need. And for that, you'll need to know what materials you get from every level. And that is part of the difficulty of making your own pills and leveling alchemy and forging and that. So I will get to that in a minute. But let's moving on to Heaven Building, which is where Heaven Tower currency is spent. At the point I'm at on my main, I can afford to get 10 Essence Spirit Liquid a day for 10,000 Heaven Jades, but that's only because I'm past floor 65 sort of thing. Every day I go to floor 60 plus and it's a shitload of Heaven Jade, Spirit Stone, all that. That's the only reason I get them. And I highly recommend doing that too, but not until later down the track. When you first start, you are going to try and basically want to get a few of these Heaven Pills because you can exchange them for actual items. You see here you've got your Nascent Soul, superior quality items. Now, if you have saved up enough for as soon as you hit Nascent Soul to buy a full set of this, you are likely going to be the strongest Nascent Soul in your realm, really, because this armor is the best you can get for it, and it's really, really cheap. Now, bear in mind, you can only buy 5 Heaven Pills a day. Each one of those items costs 4. Chances are you're not going to reach Nascent Soul in a day, so you can plan to get a few of those items that are the most pertinent to you, whether you want more attack, more health, more mana, more crit, whichever you want. You will have to afford it by the time you get to Nascent Soul, because once you've spent it, you spent it, you know what I'm saying? There's no take-backsies, so make sure you know exactly what you want to buy. These fruits and the seeds, don't worry about them. That's for the Immortal Mansion, and that is just not relevant in this guide. Now, Greater Spirit Herb Pack, trash. Dark Iron Pack, trash. Wood Food, they're all trash. Even these items here, they're not trash per se, considering their greater rarity, but they're really only worth it if you can afford that insane amount of Heaven Jade in order to buy it, which is easier said than done. Now, exchange, these are the... not exchange, reward, these are where you get items for getting further into the Heaven Tower. All of it's amazing, but there is no rush, so to speak, so don't get upset that you're not pushing 50 stars, 80 stars, 100 stars in the first day. It will take time to build up, and it will build up quite quickly. I only just collected my Wood Immortal Egg on my other account, and I'm keen for that because that should go straight to Divine, but that doesn't matter. What matters is you got to remember to collect them. It's really easy to just overlook it when you go into the heaven building, because you just item and exchange are really the only two, generally speaking, that most people check. So just make sure to go to reward once a day. Now, moving into your sect market. Your sect market is relatively important. You will need to buy things from here quite often. Now, I don't recommend obviously buying any of the items themselves. You can find better in just even the first level of adventure. You can find better items than this, even though they only cost spirit stone. Best not waste it. Contribution wise, those seeds are so overpriced that I'm literally holding in laughter. No one's gonna buy them with contribution anyway. Fucking hell. Same goes for these items. Foundation, establishment, equipment, sure, it's good. Downside is it costs contribution. The fact it takes that much time just to generate enough to buy one item makes it completely pointless to buy in the first place, you know? Now, the recipes themselves, you really need to buy every recipe you can. Don't worry too much about the contribution recipes, but you need to buy as many recipes as you can from the alchemy area. Now, I'm not an inner disciple of the sect yet, so I can't quite have a look. Let me just see if I can... Promote me! Bugger. But I'll try and talk about alchemy and forging without actually going into the shop. My first thing to say about when you can actually access the shop, every single recipe that you can see with spirit stones that you can use, specifically use, so the level of forging and alchemy that you currently are, like as you go into that shop, you need to buy every single recipe for that area, because you will need all of them. All of them require different items, and the reason I say get all of them is because the more you have, the more you can make, like spread across everything, because it's really hard to level up, especially your forging, when you come to this sort of bugger. All right, sure, you can break through. She'll be right. Yeah, she'll be right. But make sure you don't buy. If you're level 1, don't buy level 2 recipes. If you're level 2, don't buy level 3 recipes yet, because it's just an inventory space waste. It'll just sit there taunting you, and that'll be sad, right? Speaking of the forging and alchemy, this is really where we get into the substantially harder part to manage, because your alchemy will level very quickly. Oh, did I eat that recipe? Just there we go. Anyway, your alchemy will level quite quickly, regardless of what you do, purely because you need to make lesser familiar pills, medium, greater, superior, etc. All those kind of pills on top of attribute pills, which there is a consensus among people who are ascended is not worth making the attribute pills, not until you have like a full set of familiars. So if you do want to make attribute pills, make sure you cross-reference the requirements, like the material requirements with the material requirements of your familiar pills. Because if you use all of one up, you'll be up shit creek trying to farm just to get one particular material, and that slows you down immensely. Now, a lot of people say to focus on forging itself. I definitely didn't spend enough time forging when pre-ascendance in this game, so I've fucked myself in that regard. My forging is barely level 4 because I can't find anything to forge. I can't find any recipes that are level 4 because I have to wait for the refresh. Occasionally I see one before I was level 4, but now I have to wait until I see those recipes again, and it's very, very frustrating. And there are only a few of them in Ascendance, so I definitely recommend that you push for at least level 4 forging before you ascend, preferably 5, but that is literally so hard because the materials between what you need of alchemy and forging, they don't generally intersect, but some of them do. So when you make a pill, let's just grab this one. Now, demon cores aren't really an issue. You will farm demon cores like crazy. You'd never have an issue with them. Or at least generally speaking, you'd never have an issue with them after a few roams once you get to Rome. Otherwise, it's all manual farming, I'm afraid. But, for example, this Millennium Ginseng. You see, I get it from Rookie Stage, Purple Miasma Forest, Demon Beast Mountains, etc. Now, you need to get your obtained access stages and cross-reference them with, for example, this usually isn't a spirit herb. That is from this Immortals Cave thing, resource generation, which I will get to, but I stand by what I said in the previous video about it and the way that you should be leveling that, but I'll get back into that after I finish with talking about alchemy, because this is an important topic and it relates to the strength of your character, basically speaking. If you can't make enough familiar pills to boost your pets and your assisted pets, you will see yourself visibly fall behind everyone else who has focused on them. That's just a fact, I'm afraid. So yeah, when you do make a pill, make sure that you actually open it up and look at the materials required, cross-reference the two to see if they share an obtained access area, and if they do, fucking hallelujah for you. It means you can just farm that one, roam that one, or manually farm that one, whichever you prefer, and that way you are ensuring that you only get the materials that you need. And that's really the key when it comes to farming materials for alchemy and forging. You have to read the fine print. You have to do it, otherwise you'll just keep roaming random stages, getting a shitload of materials that you don't need, and they'll just sit in your inventory and build up because you literally can't use them because you're not a high enough level in either forging or alchemy, or you don't have the recipes to make stuff like that. So you need to constantly buy recipes, you need to constantly buy recipes for forging, all of it, the whole shebang. And make sure that every time before you log off or you go off for a couple of hours, just make something in alchemy, make something in forging, ideally both. If you have to pick, pick forging. I'm not going to lie. I would rather be able to make devil items at the point I'm at in the game on my main than anything else. But I can't make those items because I don't have a fucking forge level for it. I've definitely got the items, but I don't have the forge level for it. So, don't be like me. I make mistakes so you all don't have to. Moving into sec now, I am going to actually learn myself in the library. I'm going to learn myself some skills. Learn! That's basically the trick there. You've got one to learn when you first join a sect and you spam click learn. Then we have to go into character, go into technique and actually physically equip them, and you will unlock more slots as you level up. But to begin with, yeah, you're only going to be allowed to equip one in each. Once you have them, you can start going into cultivating them and increasing their effectiveness. So it'll cost me, you see the bottom left there, going to cost me 10,000 chi to level this up to tier 2. The max tier these go to is 5, and you will need a certain state to reach that level. And by state, I mean cultivation state. So you will need, for example, for leveling up this skill pass tier 1, I will need the next realm after foundation establishment. And then to level it up to the next one, I'll need the next realm after that. And of course, as you level up through your major realms, more skills will unlock through the sect. You will have to get them, decide which ones you want, decide which ones you don't, and equip them accordingly. And that all depends on the type of character you want to build, the way the techniques are described, at least in terms of the damage and what they do, what they give, is pretty straightforward. Now, you won't have much of a choice of your techniques when you first start, because as we all know, you just get randomed in, and the heavens decide your spirit root, which also in turn decides your sect, pretty much. So you won't have much of a choice in your techniques to begin with. It's only once you ascend that you start having more freedom with creating a cultivator that, well, you can literally take it in any direction that you want. I'll be honest with you. That's part of why I like this game so much. You can be unique. Now I will talk a little bit about the Immortals Cave quickly. In my opinion, the best way to level the Immortal Garden is to pump wood first, level up your Beast Garden a couple of times so that more disciples can actually go into it. And if you're like mine is currently, if your disciple over max disciple rate for your garden is lower than max, drop everything, pump food, and make sure that you are always at the very max of the people that you can have in the Beast Garden, because every extra food you have is more potential resource generation later. Lumber costs 2 to create 1, pharmacy and mineral costs 4 to create 1. You need a shitload of food. That is just the way that's going to be. So you need to be leveling your lumberyard and your Beast Garden primarily, and then you can move into your pharmacy and your mineral vein and start leveling them up. Because as you level, as those state rewards, for example, in event, you do get quite a bit. Those are quite a lot of resources to begin with, but they will most likely immediately be used to level your spirit gathering formation, and you need to level this spirit gathering formation as well, unfortunately, because A, the higher it is, the higher the ability you have to level your pets, because that will cost chi. You also need to level your normal grade at the bottom there to increase the effectiveness of the techniques you equip. So that will affect the ones you have in the future too. It's just basically a permanent buff for all your techniques, and it's going to be a huge boost in your power as well as you play through the game. So you do want to be constantly leveling this spirit gathering formation. It's cheap to begin with, obviously, but then it gets crazy expensive and you will start having to generate a lot more iron. Iron begins to slow down the leveling up of these spirit gathering formations, because depending on how you level your immortal garden with maximizing lumber and beast, there will be a bit of an issue with generating iron unless you physically change it to produce more iron, but that in turn is going to reduce the amount of wood you get and the amount of food you get. So it's a delicate balance that you need to find, but I have full faith in all of your abilities, ladies and gentlemen. Full faith. And now that the Heaven Tower is open, I literally, yes, that just happened during the course of this video. I unlocked the next thing and here we are. Now, the thing that I really want to point out here, before I leave this episode here, because we are dragging on a bit, you've seen the Heaven Building shop, you've seen exchange, and you've seen reward. This is the rankings for it, and 57's the highest. That's pretty good thus far. Now, what I really want to show you is this Heaven Access token area. Now, this is basically your seasonal stuff. When you go up the tower, you will get these blue experience points. This is where they go, okay? So every day you're going to want to click this 300 XP at the bottom right. It gives you an extra 300 XP. Pretty straightforward, but a lot of people overlook it. Understandably so. It doesn't look like it's clickable, you know? As you go up the tower, you will get that XP to level this up, and as you can see, you get your Heaven tokens and all those rewards on the left, unless you buy the advanced token version where you'll get both of those rewards at once, but that costs money. It's a top-up thing. Not my area of purview. Now, in rewards overview, that shows you everything that you can possibly get. I think that might be the max of the week, actually, because you can only earn a certain amount of experience points per week, as you can see there, 31,500 for this week, which seems like a lot, but when you do that Heaven Tower every day, that fills up really quickly. Now, the advanced token is where the pay-to-win aspect comes into it. You get more stuff if you do these for the season, basically. Purchase level, you can outright purchase the level with the Divine Stones, premium currency. I don't recommend it, not my thing, but hey. Now, in exchange, you, generally speaking, for most free-to-play, we're not going to see those Holy Beast eggs, so stop dreaming. Sorry to burst the bubbles, but it's not worth it. The only thing on this list, in my mind, that's even remotely worth it are these interlocks. Now, it gives you absolutely no description of it, so I tested it a long while back, and that is the item that you need to actually give intimacy to one of these partners that will eventually become a fighting companion. So it will give 5 favor to one of them. So in the end of the day, I've started just exchanging every single token that I get with these interlocks to try and unlock a partner faster. You could choose to do that yourself, or you can get the pills. For 20 whole Heaven tokens, when those Heaven tokens are rare as hell, for a pill, I don't see as being worth it unless you're buying levels or you bought the advanced thing. It's not worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not worth it. That is the only thing I saw on it that's worth it, the interlock. But that's my personal opinion. We will see if I'm proven right in time. But yeah, I think I will leave this video here. I really have gone on a bit. But leave a comment if you want to be in the giveaway. I will only be giving away one code this time, and I'll give away another code with the second part of this. But subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave me a like, leave me a comment. I gotta go back to my main now because, my God, let me just... That's more like it. There's my baby. I think this will be the thumbnail. As always, have a great day.